Good morning. I am pleased to be joined today by Marty Martinez, who is the Chief of Health and Human Services, and Sheila Dillon, who is our Chief of Housing and the Director of the Department of Neighborhood Development. And I believe Kate Bennett will also be here, who is our Administrator of the Boston Housing Authority. Today, I will provide an update on our ongoing COVID-19 response and share important housing news. In Boston yesterday, we saw 130 new confirmed cases for a total of 63,748. Sadly, there were 2 deaths reported, bringing the total number at 1,341, and 404 people recovered, bringing that total to 59,706. We have begun to see an increase in activity in the city's positivity rate, which is currently at 4.2%, up from 3.7%. This translates into over 170 cases per day. The 17% increase in positivity rate illustrates that many people are still getting COVID. The change is largely due to a higher rate of infection among younger residents. More than half of the new cases in the past 2 weeks have come from Bostonians under the age of 29. We continue to make strides in vaccinating Boston residents, with more than 30% of Boston's total population receiving at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. That's 179,376 residents and counting. The arrival of vaccines bring new hope, but stopping the spread requires our continued vigilance. Let's all work together to keep ourselves and our communities safe. That means wearing our masks, washing our hands, and keeping our social distance. It also means choosing to get vaccinated when our turn comes. The impact of COVID-19 extends beyond public health. The pandemic has also taken a painful financial toll. Many Bostonians continue to struggle to make ends meet. Yesterday, the CDC extended its eviction moratorium through June 30th. This protection will be a lifeline for families struggling to recover financially. Preventing evictions is a public health priority because families who lose their homes are often forced into overcrowded conditions that increase the risk of COVID-19 transmission. I applaud the CDC for extending eviction protections for families in Boston and across the country. The reality is many Boston families will still need help with housing costs to get through this pandemic. So today, I will make $50 million available for the City of Boston's Rental Relief Fund. This new funding will help renters remain in their homes and help landlords who are struggling. We are doing this work with nonprofit partners because I understand how important it is to leverage every available resource. We are working together to protect public health, to promote housing stability, and to ensure an equitable recovery from this pandemic. These additional funds and amounts up to $15,000 will make a big impact, helping tenants who otherwise wouldn't be able to pay their rent. In addition to rent payment assistance, this new funding will help families pay for utilities, including internet access, which has been crucial during the pandemic. We encourage tenants and landlords to communicate and work together during this challenging time. For those tenants who are not able to reach an agreement with their landlords, this money can help them make a move. Funds will be available for certain moving costs, as well as first and last month's deposits. I want to thank Chief Dillon and her housing stability team. Your work continues to help Boston residents in need. The Rental Relief Fund has provided critical support to nearly 1,900 households who were at risk of eviction due to COVID-19. These new funds will do even more. I appreciate all of the hard work that you have done to continue in these difficult times. I want to close with a comment on the ongoing work between the Boston Police Department and the U.S. Department of Justice. I believe people must have faith and trust in public servants. This is especially true for law enforcement. The allegations of fraud announced today against retired Police Captain Richard Evans are disturbing. Captain Evans oversaw the critically important Evidence Control Unit, making these charges even more troubling. Any fraud is unacceptable. It breaks public trust. It dishonors the thousands of officers who serve our communities every day with honesty, integrity, and bravery. I am committed to uncovering and rooting out behavior among officers that is inconsistent with our community values. We will continue to work collaboratively to implement community-driven police reforms, and I am committed to ensuring the people of Boston can have full confidence in their police force. This includes our work to establish the new Office of Police Accountability and Transparency for the City of Boston. Working together, we will increase accountability and transparency in all of our work. Thank you for being here. Now I am happy to take any questions that you have for myself or Chief Martinez or Chief Dillon regarding COVID-19 or our housing work. Thank you. So I continue to be worried about this pandemic and how it is impacting the residents of this city. I will work closely with our public health chief and the Public Health Commission to ensure that we are looking at the data closely so that if we need to make any adjustments, that we will do so. I think it is troubling anytime we see an increase in activity, and so we will continue to watch closely so that we can adjust if we need to roll back some of the loosening of the restrictions that have already happened at the state level. Right now, I'm working closely with our chief to see if that is the direction we need to take. So my goal is to ensure that we get all of our educators vaccinated and all of the residents in the city of Boston vaccinated as quickly as possible. We will continue to look at the data and work with our educators and work with Superintendent Cassellius around any adjustments that we need to make, if any, regarding school opening. We know that this pandemic has taken a particularly hard toll on our young people, and that we need to get our young people back in the classrooms fully with their teachers and peers, but we need to do so safely and responsibly. We will continue to look at that data, and I will work closely with the superintendent, with the educators, as well as our public health officials here, so that if we need to make any adjustments around that timetable, that we will do so together.
Regarding the charges against the police captain, does the city need to conduct some sort of audit or something, or some further investigation?
So for now, my statement that I read today is my statement. This is an ongoing investigation, and as more information is made available, if I have any updates, I will certainly make that update available to you. This is why the Office of Police Accountability and Transparency is so important, to make sure that we are doing everything to instill trust and confidence for those who may have lost that. And so I am looking forward to bringing on a director very soon who will lead that work.
Where does the 50 million come from? Is that from federal?
I'm going to let our
So the 50 million is being sourced from the most recent bill that was passed. That's 36 million of that, and then the remainder is earlier money that we received from the federal government that ANF is sort of augmenting this fund with. So the vast majority is federal funding.
No, I have not, but I certainly will listen to all of our parents. It is important that our parents know that their voices will be heard as we make decisions impacting their children. We need to ensure that we are opening our schools safely and responsibly. And so working together with the superintendent and with our educators, we will make determinations that are best for children and families here in Boston. And of course, that includes the voice of parents. But we need to make sure that we're doing this safely, as the increase in positivity indicates.
Last question.
You indicated that you wanted to see the teachers trajectory as soon as possible. However, that shouldn't impact the CDC said that
Our teachers are very eager to get vaccinated, as you saw from their advocacy, and right now those numbers are looking good, and we want to do everything to ensure that they can continue to get vaccinated and that we can safely reopen our schools. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.